Good morning, YouTube. As always, hopefully you are all good and doing well. And welcome to the first episode of the reverse diet, aka the diet after the diet. In these videos, I'm going to be showing you exactly what I am doing in order to reverse off the back of finishing my cut and ensure that I'm basically increasing my calories, also maintaining a good level of condition and showing you exactly how to go about reverse dieting. And whilst I show you through what I've been up to this morning, I wanted to talk to you about something very important when it comes to reverse dieting, and that is you need to view this part of the diet as still part of the diet. I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to dieting is that they view whenever the diet end date is as the actual end date of the diet, and they don't sort of take into account that there is going to have to be a reversal period off the back of it, and therefore people sort of mentally check out from the dieting process and then find the reversal diet the hardest part of the process because you've told yourself you're not dieting anymore, hunger's quite high. So many people just absolutely fuck up this part of the process, and you've done all of that hard work and you just go and get really soft really quickly. The look fades very, very quickly. A lot of that hard work has almost been sort of ruined off the bat. But if you are to reverse properly and go about things in a good way and also have a good mindset around it, you can get yourself into a position where you're eating significantly more calories, you're maintaining a good level of composition, and you actually probably look better than you did when you first finished your cut. And as I say, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm doing in order to achieve that. I'm also going to touch on calories and all that sort of good stuff later. I'm about to train. Spent last week sort of getting used to my new program, but today's session is the only session that I've not run. So it is a pull day today. We're going to be starting with straight leg deadlifts. My gym session is all done and I'm just trying to squeeze a few extra steps in before starting work. I've already commuted to work and I've also made myself a little bit more presentable, but the session itself was really solid, nice and enjoyable. Where I am at the very start of sort of like reversing and also at the start of getting used to the exercises, the main thing that I'm really focusing on is just trying to establish like a bit of like a baseline. So what I mean by this is that really you want to focus at the very start of running a new program for the first couple of weeks is just your quality as to how you're performing each movement, and just ensuring that your form and actual execution is to the best possible standard that it can be, and then you can sort of build load from there. Like I always tell my clients, for the first couple of weeks, all I want you to do is get used to the exercises, try and perform them to the best of your ability, and then improve as you go through. Because the last thing that you want to do is sort of start the process with really poor form, and then you're trying to progress load with poor form, because it just means that you're going to get injured, and also you're not really going to be able to sort of use the target muscle that you are trying to develop as well. Good evening. It is currently 7:20. I've commuted home, the workday is all done, and I'm going to show you behind the scenes of the workday and just everything else that I've sort of eaten and got up to throughout the course of today. And as I'm going to be showing you through my food, I thought it would make sense to talk you through nutrition side of things and how I'm going to be approaching things to start with my reverse diet. So as explained sort of previously within this video, the aim of a reverse diet really is to slowly increase calories, and not at a rate that is sort of like painfully slow. Like I see some coaches who just do this by like 100 calories every single week. The aim is to sort of increase calories enough so that it helps to get rid of sort of that excessive hunger that you may well have been feeling, and it's enough that your body can sort of like get rid of that fatigue, slowly adapts to the calories in like a useful way, so you can basically hold condition whilst eating more, performing better, and also feeling better as well. And in order for me to do that, I have got the following targets. Now on a training day, which is 5 days a week, is going to be 205 grams of protein, 310 grams of carbs, 50 grams of fat, which works out to be around sort of 2,500 calories and about 600 calories more than I was on a daily basis during the cut at the end of it. And then rest day calories and macros are a little bit lower, so they're 200 grams of protein, 225 grams of carbs, 65 grams of fat, and then around sort of 2,300 calories on those days. The whole reason for this is because these calories are sort of more towards where my maintenance is, and the aim of the game really at this moment in time is to increase those calories relatively significantly to start with, see how my body weight reacts, how my body reacts, how I sort of look off the back of it, and then I can make adjustments as required. But in terms of today's totals, also I've got the Vector glasses on as per usual. Need to be going to bed soon. As you can see here with the new sheet that I use with my new coach, my targets are, as I mentioned, but I'm hitting 197 grams of protein today, 317 grams of carbs, 60 grams of fat. And I normally wouldn't want to sort of give myself, say, like an excuse for that or anything, but I am just sort of getting used to these macros at this moment in time. It still is the start of the process. I had salmon for dinner tonight, and it's just one of those things. It's like, okay, that's probably slightly too fatty for me to get within these macros. So I just need to sort of adjust and learn. I think these first few weeks of this reverse diet, of having more food, it is going to be a case that it is a little bit trial and error, obviously trying my best to stick to things to the best of my ability, but fine tuning as I go through this process as well. From like an output side of things, I'm still aiming for 10k steps a day. At the prime of my cut, these are sort of 15 to 12k steps a day, so the 10k steps are relatively easy to achieve. As I say, it is literally so important to make sure that when you are finishing a diet or when you're getting towards the end of the diet, you keep in mind that the things that you're doing during a dieting phase are not something that you are only doing for a dieting phase. You are still going to have to maintain doing these things off the back of it as well. For example, like still making good decisions with food, working around socials and everything like that, but still doing a decent amount of steps, still putting like that effort in and everything around the nutrition. You want to view this part of the process as the diet after the diet. It is very easy to sort of like mess this phase up, and it can genuinely be one of the most sort of like rewarding ones if you go about it in the right way. Good morning. It is now the next morning, and I realized that I hadn't shown you the physique update side of things, so I will show you that on the screen here with a little bit of a pump. I've done my push session this morning, which is a very nice and solid session. I'll also show you some of that whilst I talk through this very last bit. But what I find like with my physique, especially off the back of coming off of a photo shoot, when you have obviously been peaking and you've been really trying to see sort of like those marginal differences, sort of manipulating carbs and fluid potentially as well in order to sort of look as sharp as possible, like with using that peak max that I did in the last episode. Inevitably, when your tan's gone and you're not quite as sort of peaked, you can really compare your physique to sort of like that prime physique that you had a week ago and be a little bit critical about things. So at this moment in time, I'm not really sort of being too analytical about the physique. I'm certainly happy with the position that I'm in, but obviously last week I was pretty much in like the best position that I'm going to be in. I'm certainly starting this reverse diet in a very nice position. And obviously I've shown you through exactly sort of like the starting macros, also the activity targets. So the aim of the game over these next few episodes is I'm going to show you all the changes that I'm making, how things are progressing, why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing as well. So make sure that you subscribe to see what is coming up. But one last thing before I do go, my weight this morning was 144.6 pounds, I think. That's actually about a pound down from last Monday, just prior to the shoot, and also a pound down from yesterday as well. So even with eating a little bit more food, I can see that weight is coming down, which is actually a very positive thing as well, because that does mean that my body is probably adapting quite nicely to this extra food, and therefore I should be able to increase food relatively soon, eat more calories, train to an even better standard, and enjoy eating a little bit more. But obviously in the next episode, I'll go through all of that sort of good stuff. As always, thank you very much for watching, and see you in the next video.